Kelly Galloway, eHouse garden expert, and here are my tips for growing a beautiful organic garden. Today I'm going to show you how to grow what could be the world's most popular herb, basil. I'm going to show you how to plant basil from seed in a container. Here's what you'll need. You'll need a watering can, potting soil, basil seed, or if you want, you can also grow basil from starts. Some fish fertilizer, which you'll use to fertilize your plants, a spray bottle, a trowel, and of course, if you're going to be growing a basil in a container, you'll need a container to plant the seeds in as well. Step 1. Like most herbs, basil likes well-drained soil that's amended with plenty of organic matter and full sun. So you're going to want to select a site that gets 6 to 8 hours a day. When you're growing basil in a container, you're going to want to choose a high-quality soil mix. And once you've filled this container with soil, you're going to want to pre-moisten the soil. If you don't pre-moisten the soil, it'll float up and your basil seeds will have a tendency to all congregate in one area. So just pour some water in and then mix it around with your trowel. Step 2. Basil pouts if you plant it in too cool of weather. You're going to need to wait to sow the seed until all danger of frost is past, the soil is at least 60 degrees Fahrenheit, and the nights don't fall below 60 degrees. If you plant too soon, you'll either run the risk of killing basil in a frost, or it's just going to sit there because it doesn't like cool weather. When you sow basil, you're going to take the tiny seeds, so you can see they're quite small, and you're going to sprinkle them lightly over the soil, trying to space them out as best you can. Then what I like to do is tamp down the soil, and this gives good soil to seed contact. That's important for germination. Once I've tapped down the soil, then I'm going to take some compost or fine potting soil, and I'm just going to very lightly sift it over the top of the seeds. You only want to cover the seeds up with about a 1/4 inch of soil, so it's a real light covering. Those seeds are so tiny, if you put a bunch of soil on top of them, it's going to take them forever to germinate if they germinate at all. Step 3. After you've sown the seeds, you're going to want to water them in. Use a very gentle stream of water. If you use a very strong stream of water, you're going to float the seeds everywhere and who knows where they'll end up. So it's important to use a gentle stream of water. I'm just going to water them in here with my watering can. I also like to use a watering can if I'm out in the garden instead of the hose, because the hose typically just has too strong of a stream of water. Once you get it watered in and the seeds are wet, it's important to never ever let them dry out until you see the seedlings sprout. Step 4. When you grow basil from seed, when the seedlings pop up and they're about 2 or 3 inches tall, you're going to want to thin them 4 to 6 inches apart. Or if you're planting basil from seedlings, you're going to want to plant them 4 to 6 inches apart. That will give them plenty of room to grow when they get bigger and bushier. The way to get bushy basil plants is to prune them. And as you can see, basil has what's called opposite leaves. That means that the leaves come out on opposite sides of the stem. So when you get, these are called a set of leaves. So when you get 3 or 4 sets of leaves, that's your signal that it's time to start pruning. So to prune, what you're going to do is you're going to pinch off a top part of the plant. And where you pinch is important. So you want to pinch back right above a set of leaves. Just like that, with your nail. Step 5. Basil is what's called a heavy feeding plant. That means it needs a lot of nutrients. So you're going to need to fertilize it during the growing season. Use an organic liquid fertilizer like fish emulsion. What you're going to want to do is take the fish emulsion, read the directions on the back of the bottle, and dilute the fish emulsion to the recommended strength for herbs. Spray the tops and undersides of the plant. You really want to coat the whole plant. And you're going to want to do this every 2 weeks for the first 2 months of the growing season, and then once a month for the rest of the summer. Step 6. When you harvest basil, don't put it in the refrigerator. It can turn the leaves black. What you're going to want to do instead is place the stems of the basil into a jar of water and just set it on your kitchen counter away from direct sunlight.